Heidi ho, everybody. Welcome to the Friday live stream and mail call. All right, for the Retirement Railroad. Hopefully my audio is fine. Check, check, check. Somebody let me know. I don't want to sit here pretending like I'm talking to myself. Ruh-roh. Something ain't right. Oh, that's why. All right. Hopefully that's solved. Echo, 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 echo. Hey, JT. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Is it better now? Background noise was because I screwed up. Because I'm a dumbass. No more echo. I know. I had YouTube on by mistake. I had two YouTube channels open, and I muted one, but I didn't mute the other. So, like I said, that was totally on me. And I had a derailment. That ain't good. That I should never have. And normally I would have everything worked out before the live stream, but unfortunately I had another commitment this morning. So I just barely got signed on before we went live. Well, crap. I will do that, Jason. I will do that. All right, I screwed up again because I didn't have the switches set. I thought I had hit the mandatory default, but apparently not. In JMRI, I have a menu where I can throw multiple switches at one time, and one of those is labeled as default, so that I press it at the beginning and at the ending, both of any session. Hey, Joe Rader. And apparently one of the sets of switches didn't do what it was supposed to do when I hit the default. Let me know if this is the engine noise becomes too loud. If it is, I'll mute it. Hey, Scott, welcome, buddy. So Jason has my mail call on hold until he gets back, or actually goes on lunch and he can get on. So we won't do the mail call. I only have one mail call, and it's from him. I always like Joe's mail calls. He's in the same boat with Caboose Stop and Carol that I am. You never know what's going to show up. Which reminds me, after this, this live stream, I've got to call Cheryl. I'm not Cheryl. Cheryl's my wife. I got to call Carol. All right, good enough. Thanks. And what is JD here? Oh, there's JD. Hey, JD. I gotta call Carol and if I don't have enough for a box, I need to fill that box up. So, all right, let's try this again. Yeah, I've got a couple things I didn't think I bought. One was a Virginia and Ohio, or Ohio and Virginia tanker, but it worked out. That's the one I turned into my Mini Prince tank car, and so I mean it was dirt cheap anyway. I've gotten a couple vehicles. I didn't know I was going to get those vehicles, but I was pleasantly surprised. So I haven't gotten anything that I absolutely positively didn't want. Everything I've gotten was either what I ordered or goes hand in hand. So yeah, Joe, I am filled up with freight cars. I have to get the storage cabinet that goes inside here with drawers that I can set up each drawer as a staging track within JMRI, so I can move stuff on and off the layout and have it always located in JMRI, organized at least. So yeah, I've got to go over to IKEA one of these days and pick one of those up. Is that Lee? Hey, Lee. Now there's a couple of freight cars I can still be looking for. Some open 2-bay hoppers for gravel. I could still use a couple, 2 or 3 of those. I think I'm good on icebox reefers now. I'll explain that later. Tank cars. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5. Yeah, I'm pretty good on tank cars. I'm real good on box cars. Maybe a good flat car. There's a few cars. I could use some more cement hoppers and replace some old crappy lifelike ones. I could use a couple, 2 or 3 flat cars for the same reason. Replace some old crappy ones. So, but other than that, I'm maybe a stock car or 2. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I could probably use another stock car. I want to develop a meat train in JMRI that would have livestock and icebox, the Wilson icebox reefers, and then a beer train, of course, that might have covered grain cars and reefers. Got to keep that beer cold, So, but that's kind of just eventual type stuff. Hey, JB, John Beneke, and Bernard. I missed Bernard there. Anybody else I miss? Hopefully not. I'm just running the commuter train today. I don't have the lift out section. I had it out because I was doing some HOA business, training some compliance inspectors this morning. Yes. Before anybody calls me the HOA N-word, other N-word, don't. All right, I take offense to that. I'm just trying to improve our neighborhood. What big giveaway? Heath, you come in here. What, you want me to get? I know what I should do. I should give away when I hit 500 subs, I'll tell you what, I'm going to give away a Blame Heath shirt when I hit 500 subs. I'm at 249 as of before this mail call. So a Blame Heath shirt. How's that for a prize? It works across all scales. Can't believe I just thought of that on the fly, man. You know, I bet you I could get the Southern Pacific rolling too. Not Southern Pacific, the Union Pacific. So let's get him rolling. It rolling, 1467. All right. Let's see how many trains I can crash today. Ramble, 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 ramble. Okay. Hey, whatever size they want, as long as it's a Blame Heath t-shirt, right? I wouldn't think you'd mind that. I think you would support that giveaway. I only need 250 more subs to get there. Ramble, 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 ramble. Ramble. I know what we can do. I know what we can do. Everybody likes this view for whatever reason. So, what we are going to do is we're going to change oops, oopsie. Everybody likes that view. There we go. And I'm going to change it like that. And then I'm going to put la, 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 la. Is it this one? Nope, not that one. It must be that one. There we go. All right. I probably need to change that camera. Let's go to one? Yeah, let's go to that one. The other thing you could do, Joe, instead of moving to an area with better lighting, is just add more lighting. That's what I had to do. This room here is dark. I had to add 6 dual tube LED lights to this room. Yeah, I have KDs on them, Bernard. The 9 times out of 10 on passenger cars, if you're having issues with KDs, it's coupler height mismatched. Okay, and what I'm talking about there is one's higher or lower than the other, and when you hit an incline or decline, they do that number and come uncoupled. Boom. The other thing, I think Ray's problem though, is with the hook down below, the fake airline that's used for magnetic coupling and uncoupling. I take all of mine as soon as I install them. All right, hang on. Let me, if you can see it or not. I take all of mine and bend that little thing up. Okay, because if you get any kind of sag in the coupler, that little fake airline will snag on a frog or a switch going across a cross rail. Those are typically the 2 biggest issues that I've had with KD couplers. And one is simply making sure that you get coupler heights right, either through washers. You know, KD has gray and red and metal washers like that. All right, that you can use to raise the body. If the coupler's body mount and you need to raise it, you can use a series of those washers between the truck and the body to raise that coupler height up. That's one thing. And then again, the other, when I put any KD coupler on any of my cars, freight or passenger, I bend that fake air hose for magnetic uncoupling. I bend that up slightly. And I'm probably going to have a derailment. I got one spot. Ooh, got him. Got him. I got one spot. The bi-level commuter cars just a little long for the radius curve separation that I have, the track spacing. And when I run it with other passenger cars, another passenger train, and they meet at that location, they can snag on each other. And that's exactly what just happened. And I saw it occurring. And normally I can just change the speed of one or another, or stop one or the other, and avoid it. But I was too busy talking about couplers to pay attention. So now I have to fix it. I was kind of like texting while driving, distracted driving. All right, that's me. track. So I hope everybody's having a great day. I was right up to the point of that derailment. And of course, this place where it happens at is one of the three hard spots to get to. Well, hang with me for a minute as I get this straightened out. It's one. Of course, when I built the railroad and I tested this corner for separation, I didn't have those longer commuter cars. Alright, I think I got everything fixed. Alright, now, what did I miss? Alright, let me back it up. Alright, we'll back it up here. They do go all the way around the room. Alright, let me walk over. This area right here, alright, has a lift out section. And I took it out because I had some people over this morning that I was doing some HOA training with. Alright, so it's picked up, it's lifted out, and it goes under there. Alright, so right now only phase 1 is active. All right, over here is the drop down. Okay, well, there's no use having it up to get to Aurora if I can't get across the lift out, and it would be far too easy just to run something off the layout if I had this up and wasn't paying attention. I don't worry about it too much here because I do have defaults on the switches, and I can control those. So anyway, that's the answer to that question, Dwight. All right. And Jared wanted me to explain about couplers again because he was busy paying attention to something else. Okay. KD couplers. They make a little gauge. And they come in either a pewter metal or this plastic one. And this is a track height gauge. And it will tell you whether the head, the knuckle, is at the right height. This is set at the right height. And so when you put this down on a track and you back a car up to it, okay, you can tell whether the car is at the coupler is at the right height for the car. Additionally, the fake air hose thingy here, right, has to clear a little tab over here. Okay, I automatically bend this fake air hose up a little bit so that there's no question that it's going to clear going over a switch and the frog or cross rail. Okay, you do those if you get the coupler's at the right height, and you bend that up just a tad, you should, for the most part, there's some other coupler issues that can occur, but for the most part, that'll solve about 80 and 90% of KD coupling issues. Okay, hopefully, Jared, that answered that question. So now we're down to John. Off the rail. I'm trying to get caught up here. I'm getting caught up. Oh man, JB, I used to drive the Indiana Toll Road around the south end of Lake Michigan before. It was right when I-94 was getting completed. All right, connecting Illinois to Michigan. Right, the Indiana section wasn't done, and you used to have to drive the Indiana Toll Road. All right, over to, I think it was LaPorte, Indiana, and then cut up to get back on I-94 just inside the Michigan border. Not at Sawyer, but a little bit west of there. But anyway, used to haul ass, senior ditch day and so forth, down the Indiana Toll Road at 110 miles an hour plus, 120 plus. In our muscle cars back in the mid 70s. So very familiar with the Indiana Toll Road and passing beers back and forth at the same time. Yeah, no kidding, Keith. When I built that koi pond, I built it as a swimming pool and got the approval of the HOA, and it passed all Florida design and construction standards and was inspected for such. All right, and there's nothing in Florida or any other law that says you have to chlorinate a swimming pool. So it's just a swimming pool with koi in it, with a lot different filtration. Around back for 5 minutes. Okay, Joe. So, how old are you, Mr. Bannicky? Italian relatives, okay. Once you reach the age of being retired, your life is over? Oh, contraire. I would debate that all day with you, Dwight. That's when the kids are off the payroll and life begins. Yeah, getting around Chicago is always a mess. Either whether you're going to take 94 through the city or 294 around it, or even now the 355, 80 to 355 and up, it's always a mess. You know, 294 opened up in what, the early 60s maybe? All right, and from the day it opened, it's had sections closed for repair. I hear you, John. Had a buddy that had his parents had a cottage over in Plymouth, and I can't remember the name of the Plymouth, Indiana. I can't remember the name of the lake. Pretty Lake, maybe, something like that. And we used to go over there and to drink beer, because Illinois was 19 for beer and wine, and every place else in the Midwest was 18. Yes, the koi, spelled Koi, are in fact swimming OTR. Yeah, the president of our HOA is known as a real asshole, and he knows it. All right, Joe, welcome back. I think I'm all caught up now. Sorry about that. I'm all caught up, and I never turned the trains back on, so we don't have any more derailments. I think I might leave it that way for a bit. I still have my rewiring project I have to do. And it's not that hard, other than I can get down and under the cabinets, no problem to do it. It's getting back up that is a challenge. It was funny because last week, some of you may remember I had my son and daughter-in-law visiting from Kentucky, and not Kentucky, from Tennessee. And the last time they were here, the trains only ran from my desk here up to Van Buren Street area. And so this is the first time they actually got to see trains going all the way around and doing stuff. And I started explaining some of the scenes from Trixie, the hooker over here under the streetlight at the roundhouse, to the cow tippers in the farm scene, and me and my high school buddies swimming over in the lake over there, all these different things. And then I turned on the cows and pigs at the stockyards and fired up the smoke generator so they could smoke some hams at the packing plant, and fired up the smokestack at the brewery, and so we're brewing beer. And then I got the Burlington Excursion out and smoking around. Anyway, this room was filled with smoke. In theory, wiring's easy. Okay, in theory. What happens is, inevitably, people, including myself, will get a wire hooked up wrong by mistake. Okay, and it'll throw something off, and you can't find it. And you remember? I don't know. Y'all may remember a year or so, a year and a half ago, when cousin Vinny had some issues like that, and it took him forever to figure it out, and it can be a challenge. You just have to methodically go through everything. That's why it's kind of a good idea to block out all your wiring and put circuit breakers on each one. That way you can typically limit it down a lot faster. I've got so many, Jared, I hear you. I got so many projects to do. It's mind-boggling. I want to rewire the bus work and power zones for Aurora. And that's probably the next big thing to do. And then I need to start on Union Station area and get some things done. Well, actually, Van Buren Street first, and then Union Station. So a fun thing to do. Oh, I had to call my buddy John Linton, who I'm surprised is not on today. He's probably napping. He always gives me hell about napping. I bet he's napping right now. Isn't that, and Jared, correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't been exposed much to LCC. All my stuff is done without a separate LCC. I do have a separate bus line, all right, for all my, or separate bus lines for like switch machines, my snails or tortoises, and on a separate circuit breaker that could easily be hooked up to an LCC situation. I'm sure I could put signaling in. I'm more interested in the future for block detection than I am in signaling. I don't think signaling is going to help me much when I have a diagram, an interactive diagram of the layout sitting right in front of me, and I still screw up. Okay? So I don't imagine looking down and looking for a light's going to be any better. Other than it's prototypical, and I'm not a prototypical modeler. I'm a proto-representative. It might look cool, but I don't think functionality for me would do much. Block detection, on the other hand, I could do some really cool stuff with. And it wouldn't take much for me to get into that, but if I do it at all, it's down the road a long way. As far as circuit breaker protection, I use PM42s, and they're mechanical contactor switches, and you can set when you want the voltage where you want them to throw, voltage or amperage, both, when you want them to throw. So when I started building the retirement railroad, I'm looking at Jared's comment about needing block detection, club use DC, and DCC was added later. I really did not wire this thing any different than the way I used to wire a DC layout. I still used buses. I still used drops everywhere. I still used isolation switches. The only thing different was I had double pull, double throws on each of the main lines with separate power packs. But the actual wiring was virtually the same. Okay. I use PM42s, Bernard. I didn't know there was such a thing as a 22, but okay. Yeah, I have the ability, Jared, to have a dispatcher desk in the living room. There's a computer right over there, which is tied in as well. So I could have a dispatcher there with the interactive screens and such, and that's when block detection would pay off for me. Then I could have a remote dispatcher be able to see on the main lines at least where the trains were and to be able to give authorizations. Now, keep in mind this layout's pretty compact. It's not like a club layout. Things are happening a lot faster in a compact layout than what they would happen on a longer, drawn-out club layout. DR4088s, are they, Heath, the magnet type that you coil the wire through a couple times, or as many times as necessary for it to read that there is a current draw? Is it that type? Or is it more like an infrared sensor? Infrared or photocell, either one. Yeah, Jared, I can appreciate that, using LCC not to tie up the DCC addresses. Oh, yeah. I don't have that kind of problem on I mean, I got 72 switches. Some of the switches have dual switches per address, but okay. So it's the type with the magnet, and you coil the wire around, Heath. Well, that's what the magnet type are current sensing as well. I guess it's just a matter of how they sense current. Yeah, I'm not talking about a magnet in the track to read a car is there. I'm talking about the wire going through a holy magnet, all right, and wrapping it around a few times just lets the magnet, it makes it more sensitive in reading lower current draws. Like you may have just the end of the train device, and you need to be able to sense that, of course, so it's got to be pretty sensitive. But someday I'll get around to that. Maybe. That's no protection is how you had kids. Huh? There you go, Bernard. So anyway, I have four bus lines, 4 pair of bus lines. One for each of the main lines, one for the yards, and one for the switch machines. Then those are all on the Digitrax, hooked up to the Digitrax fan station. Then I have a 16-volt AC bus line for accessories, and there's only 2 things hooked up to that, and they're the 2 smoke generators for the smokestacks. Then I have 2 12-volt bus lines, one for phase 1 and one for phase 2, that are photocell controlled for the lighting. I think that covers, that covers all the bus line stuff. How if there's no power on the track, OTR, the motor of a loco won't have any draw because there's no power to the track. So how does it do that? Yeah, Facebook's overrated. I basically got on it just so I could see what my kids were doing. And I wasn't spying on them. It's just, they were growing up and away, and it was just a way for us to see what everybody else in the family was doing. So, not like they were teenagers and we were trying to keep tabs on them, although it was a good idea back in the day. If I could have. Isn't the NMRA still working on LCC standards? I mean, I would be a tad hesitant myself to get too heavily involved in LCC, only to find out that when the standard comes out, everybody's got to change away, or may have to change away from what I already had. So, yeah. Hey, Mr. Katie, or Caddy. Oh, I missed a question. How many amps? All right, Bernard, on the main one, I typically run a little over 2 amps, 2.5 amps, depending on how many trains are actually running at one time. On the booster, I'm running upwards of 1 3/4. Yes, I could do it all on one, on the single, maybe. The whole idea was to have it sectionalized on the layout. Didn't want to between the two sides is over 2 amps. And that's what I'm going to change it over to. I'm going to put all of the switch machines on the quit shuffling around, Jason.
I'm trying to figure out why my volume is not loud.
It's very loud, actually.
Well, I can barely hear you. Maybe that fixed it.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh God, you're way loud now.
All right.
What'd you do? Adjust your mic?
I just moved it a little bit here and here, whatever. My last video, the audio was so poor. And I've been trying to figure out what the hell happened, because all my settings are the same.
Yeah.
But here nor there. And now I forgot what I was talking about.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about because I just got here.
OTR, you put Steve on the corner? Oh, yeah, I'm real tiny down in the corner now.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's okay. All's good. Do I need to go that way? No, I need to go the other way.
So Heath is saying you need some moderators.
Well, that's what you're there for. Oh, yeah. The only moderator, I think, I never found the need. I needed to do something one day. Rick needed to give me a link All right, so I made Rick a moderator. Keep in mind, I'm not typically. Oh, you're a moderator too, Jason.
Yeah, but I can't moderate if I'm in the stream.
Oh, okay. Hey, Robert.
Hey, Robert.
You can't tell me he's not a moderator, right?
Mm.
No, he's not. Wonder why.
Oh Lord, everyone, watch out! Oh, sweet, we got a headlight.
How come? I can't figure out why he's not. To make a moderator, just click on the person, right?
It doesn't work if you're doing it in StreamYard. You have to do it through YouTube.
That's where I'm at. I'm on the YouTube thing, and I'm clicking. All right. Oh, there it is. I gotta go way over to the 3 dots, and it's way, way over on the other side.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, watch out. We're dangerous now.
I know, right?
Oh joy.
Well, I should be okay because I'm a mod, so it's all of those who don't have that blue wrench. Better watch out.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till he gets a little closer before I set up.
So, should I do my mail call now, Jason?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So, most of you know, last week on my mail call, I said I had packages from a gentleman, John Morris, out of Kansas, who I met via Caboose Stop Hobbies broadcast, all right, and purchasing and stuff. And out of the goodness of his heart, he sent me a couple CB&Q rail cars. Okay. One of them was I don't even remember. It's over there somewhere. The other one was a Intermountain kit. All right, and I showed all that last week. Well, I was waiting for another package. Okay, because the Sunday, a week ago, last Sunday, Jason, the train freak, put up a post and with a list of some of his rolling stock that he was getting rid of because they fell outside of the era of his new layout that he's working on. Okay, so I took a look at the list, and there was a couple ones that I was interested in, and before I could even shoot Jason a message, he was messaging me, "Hey, I got these," and blah blah blah. And I said, "Well, cool, yeah." And I looked, and he had one that was like, what was it, an 83-foot CB&Q boxcar?
Yeah, it's 86. It's an 86
foot. Yeah, that won't work on my layout. But he did have a 50-foot boxcar, a brand new in the box Riviossi boxcar, and then he also had a duplicate, brand new Walthers Wilson Icebox reefer.
To tag onto that one, a couple of weeks ago, I don't think it was last week, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I told you that I had a reefer car coming in.
Right.
And on the eBay bid that I won, it showed a different road number than the one I got.
Right.
And so the guy, when I questioned him about it, he was like, well, he said, I didn't know they had different numbers. I thought they were all the same. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I was bidding on something I thought was a different road number. It ended up being the same road number when it came in. In other words, it wasn't exactly what the pictures were showing. And I just basically told him, I said, you know what? I think I might have someone else in mind for it. Don't worry about it. Give me a refund, sending it back or anything. And that's why I hit you up and told you that it was on the list.
Right.
Because I knew it was one you didn't have.
Yes. Because we had already exchanged information on what numbers I had versus what numbers you had. And this was one I didn't have. So I struck up the deal with Jason on these 2 cars, and he mailed it out that Monday. Okay, the next day, and being in the backwoods of Arkansas, that he is. Just kidding. It took 5 days to get here, and it showed up.
Which is surprising because the package that I sent Joe Rader only took 2 days.
Yeah. Well, Florida, to get to Joe, you're just going straight across. All right. To get to me, you got to go straight across, and then you got to drop down a couple hundred miles. So
yeah,
I don't know why.
maybe that's it. Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna put myself on mute real quick. I'm gonna get set up. I got a train coming, and I'll show it to you.
Okay. And I'll go ahead and finish this up. But anyway, so here is the 50-foot box car that Jason sent. All right, and it's a Riviossi. All right, metal wheels. I did change out the couplers to KDs. I did have to shim the coupler within the box, not shim the truck itself, but I had to shim inside the box because the Riviossi box was so high. It was much higher than the thickness of the KD coupler that it sagged. So I threw a washer in there and to straighten it out some, and that solved any issues it had. And then the Wilson Icebox Reefer, I haven't started on it yet. Okay, but it was also brand new in the box. All right. So I've got to assemble this as well. All right. And I don't know, when Jason gets back, we can ask him what he's got left if anybody's interested.
Man, I've got quite a bit of stuff that's left.
Okay.
He's almost here. I don't know if you can see his headlights or not. Just to the left of that ballast pile.
Get up and see. It's so small on my screen right now.
Yeah, I don't.
No, I see it now. I saw it.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and get my camera started.
Well, now I can't see it because you're pointing the wrong way.
I know it. I got to get this guy going. All right. I'm walking back around. Looks like intermodal. It's got UP on the point. So. Now, I'm not going to be able to hear y'all.
I'll say a couple hellos. Hey, Steven, WWW.
All right, so this is a beer train. We got a lot of beer.
The beer train? The Corona Express?
They just went by a New Orleans Publix house, you could barely see it though. East Camden and Highland. Ooh, looky here. Here you go, Robert.
Now that's funny, John. So did you wake up from your nap?
Oh, that's cool. So yeah, if anybody's thirsty, like I said, this train here is loaded with nothing but beer. They're in that Tomahawk and Western.
That's fairly long.
And then we shift to automobiles. And these are loaded as well.
I gotta remember that little less power locomotives. Good point, Joe. Valid point there, Robert.
Now I can hear y'all.
You should.
Right.
You can you read the comments?
I can go. Yeah, I can read them in just a second. I got to get my camera swapped first.
Good.
There we go. There we go. Yeah. So anybody thirsty?
Yeah. What kind of beer was it? Corona, Tecate, Dos Equis?
Probably some Corona, Dos Equis, anything
Modelo?
Mexican, Modelo, anything like that. Most likely. I just know that the beer train does come from Mexico. And the cool thing about it is most of the cars reporting marks are BKTY, and a lot of them are ex short line railroad box cars and old rail boxes.
Huh.
That's how I know it's a beer train.
So where's it going to or from?
Yeah,
Mexico's
Robert,
one
now
end. Where's the other end?
the channel and make us watch it again. Hey, I'll definitely do that. I might upload that for Wednesday's video. It's headed towards St. Louis. I don't know if it's going to stop at St. Louis, if it's going to cross the Mississippi there, or if it's going to go up towards Chicago. I have no clue.
Okay.
But the other indicator to know that it's a beer train is the sliding doors on those 50-foot box cars have 2 locks. And most of the time, the railroads will only lock the bottom because it's easier access. But they've had a lot of theft over the years on those box cars, so they'll lock the top one, which, in order to steal like a case of beer, you would have to bring like a 12-foot extension ladder that goes to 24 feet just to be able to access it. So
we had, when I worked down in San Antonio, we had a distribution center that with an open rail dock, and the railroad, of course, would spot the cars at night, and we'd get the next day, the crew comes in, open up, cut the seal, the little strip metal seal, open it up, there'd be nothing left in the damn boxcar because they'd be unloaded all night long out of the other side. All right, so we had to start putting cable wraps through the lock holes.
Bernard, no, I'm filming with my GoPro. He was asking if I would. Yeah, he was asking, Jason, are you filming on just your phone? No, I'm filming with the GoPro.
Weren't you filming on both?
Well, I was live with the phone and filming with the GoPro.
Okay, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Hey, you want to know what my favorite beer is? Did you lock up, Jason? I think Jason just locked up. God, my straight man left me right when I had a great line. Oh, he's back.
Yeah, I hit the wrong button. Take the other train freak guy down. He ain't no good.
I did. Okay, so, Jason, you know what my favorite beer is?
Okay, what is that?
Cold.
Cold? So
John Linton's is free. He's cheap.
cheap beer. That would be like what, Pabst Blue Ribbon?
Oh hell, I grew up on Pabst Blue Ribbon. No, it'd be more like old Milwaukee or old Chicago.
Schlitz.
Schlitz, yeah, back in the day.
Yeah. I was told PBR was cheap beer.
It is now, yeah, but I mean back, in the '60s, '70s, it was a Midwestern staple. You had Old Style, Pabst, Stroh's.
Yeah.
Those were probably, Bud's always been around, but I mean, you had those three were kind of the staple. You throw Bud in there and it'd be four. So.
Gotcha. Now, for me, I've tried beer. I've tried all different types of beer. Beer is just not for me.
Ooh, yeah, Little King's cream ale is real good, JB. Hams, yeah, that's another Midwestern staple there. JD. I got JB and JD. Jack's, out of New Orleans.
So that's all beyond my knowledge.
Jack's? Oh, it's the Jack's Brewery still exists. I don't think it runs anymore, but it's right. It's kind of between where the casinos are and Cafe Du Monde in New Orleans.
See, Joe likes Coors.
See, Coors, we had the bootleg, all right, into Chicago from Iowa or Nebraska. All right. That's why Smokey and the Bandit was so true, so to speak, because you used to have to bootleg Coors into the past the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
Huber, Steven, WWW. You must be a Wisconsin person. If you know Huber out of Monroe, Wisconsin, you gotta be a Wisconsin person.
So yeah, like I said, I tried beer. I was in a college fraternity, a lot of beer drinkers. I tried all different types. It's just beer is not for me. Now I can sip on a good whiskey or a bourbon. Oh. I could do that. But yeah, something about the beer. Yeah, there is some heavy graffiti on the beer train, and a lot of that graffiti is in Espanol. So a lot of Mexican graffiti.
Red, white, and blue. Yeah, that's another rot gut beer. Blatz, another rot gut beer. Drury's was another rot gut beer. There used to be a beer up in Wisconsin, Rhinelander. And when I was a senior in college, Hy-Vee food stores would run a special every semester. And it started at 9 o'clock. No, it started at 8 o'clock. And a case of long neck Rhinelanders would start at $4.99. At 9 o'clock, they'd be $3.99. And at 10 o'clock, they'd be $2.99 for a case of long necks, 24 bottles. Right? Well, but there's a limit of one case per customer. Well, our whole fraternity house would walk in to Hy-Vee and just buy everything they had. And then the TV room, we'd have one wall full of Rhinelander beer. And trust me, right? It's drinkable, but just barely.
So, Steve, got a question for you.
All right.
When you plan on building that Wilson car?
Probably, I'd like to say this week, but who knows? Surprisingly enough, my other duties with the HOA have taken up an increasing amount of my time. So
that's because you're Mr. President.
Yeah. After the last meeting, I needed a Kevlar vest. The residents who don't like to follow, who believe the rules don't apply to them, all right, we're very vocal. And I just basically told them, guys, you agreed to these rules when you moved here. I'm sorry you don't like them, but they are what they are, and it's my duty as president that this board oversees the management company to enforce them. Period. All right.
See, I don't even know if we have an HOA here. There might be one in Little Rock, but I know where I live at, there's not any.
Yeah, they're very prevalent down here in Florida. I know a lot of the developments in Oklahoma City had HOAs where we lived. Some in Texas. They exist all over, but not necessarily everywhere like they do here. In I don't know of any new development in Florida that doesn't have an HOA.
Now, we have something called a bill of assurance where we live, and that comes when they do a subdivision, where they develop a subdivision, they put in a bill of assurance, so it's like the developer's rules, per se.
That's what an HOA...
But there's like no governing board or none of that. Basically, the only thing that I'm not allowed to have on my property, and I don't even live in the city limits, I live in the county. If we choose to have farm animals, the only type of farm animals we're allowed to have is either a horse or chickens. That means no goats, no pigs. Yeah.
And there's a lot of people don't like HOAs, and hey, that's great. Don't move into a neighborhood with one. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what people that don't like them and then move in to a place with an HOA. All right, they have no reason to bitch, for lack of a better term, about the HOA. Okay, they shouldn't have moved there to begin with, and that's fine. They don't have to live in an HOA neighborhood. I personally prefer an HOA neighborhood because my life savings are tied up in this property, and when I have a next door neighbor that parks a goddamn semi in his yard, all right, that's a problem for me. Okay, these are not acre lots; these are less than a quarter acre. The streets aren't zoned for heavy commercial traffic. It's just bad situation. So anyway, here nor there. I don't want to get on my HOA rant again. They're not for everybody. All right. Typically, those that complain about them moved into them and didn't like the rules that they agreed to. All right. So I will abide by the rules I agreed to. And as president, I'll enforce them. That's my duty. So anyway, here nor there. All right. And Jim, that's JT. That's your opinion. All right. Other people have other opinions. So anyway, what else is happening? So, Jason, when are your activities going to slow down where you can get back to working on the railroad?
Well, I've been working on the demo layout, and I've got a deadline on it because the train show is not this weekend, but next weekend.
I was going to ask you. I thought it was coming up.
Yeah, I've got a week to get that finished. Last night, I got all of the signals lit. So they all work as far as lights and stuff goes. So now I'm going to get them glued in tonight. And I get to start the fun task of creating all the logic for this layout.
Oh, joy.
Because, most of the layouts that I've seen at train shows, they see like full trains running, which is really cool. But there's no like realism, like operating signals or anything like that. So I'm wanting to share, even though it's a demo layout, it's only got a locomotive going back and forth, definitely some selective compression, but it's to show what you could do with a model railroad by adding in a little bit of automation.
Sure. So you've got the Motorman in place.
Oh, yeah, Motorman works.
Okay.
Did you
put the intermittent signals in, sensors in?
Yep. No, I did not go that route this time. that's
Okay.
going to be an add-on for next time. I'm running out of time. I mean, with the whole HVAC waterfall in my house, that really set me behind.
Ah,
Having to deal with that because we had to move a lot of our stuff into the train room so that way it'd be out of the way. And we practically lived almost 2 weeks just out of our kitchen, which was also crowded, in our bedroom. And that was
oh boy.
because the hallway, it's not a separate room from my living room. So everything that was in the living room had to come out because they had to retexture the ceiling, repaint the ceiling. Went ahead, repainted all the walls because we had to replace some walls. For those who don't know, my HVAC unit's up in my attic. So when I say a waterfall, it, black mold on the ceiling, went down into the wall between my hallway and bathroom that also has insulation as a sound barrier. So we had to rip all that sheetrock out, and then it damaged the flooring. So all of that flooring had to come out, and it was like one big floor that stemmed from the hallway into the living room. So every bit of that had to be done. It was almost $9,000 worth of damage.
No wonder you've been scarce.
Yeah. So between that, my wife buying us a pool and having to do a whole bunch of landscaping to put a pool in, it's really set me behind. And that's not including, like, I still got projects to do this fall because it's been so hot outside that I can't really do some outside projects. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that once I get the demo layout finished, that will be one thing off my to-do list, and it'll just kind of sit up on a shelf for most of the year, and I'll just take it to train shows, and then I can start getting back on the layout. I've decided that I'm gonna be redoing some things around Wiener, so there's gonna be some changes coming.
Show me a layout that didn't have changes during construction, and I'll show you somebody that is probably lying.
So for those, I don't know if y'all follow Rick Bailey, the Fultz Bailey Model Railroad. He did a little series recently where he did buildings for like each of the STS guys.
Yeah.
The Star Trek Sunday guys, and so me and Rick's been talking on the side for a while, a couple of months, ever since he did my building, and I said, you know what, that would be something really cool to do, and so I'm going to do that as well. It's not going to be the exact same buildings that Rick did, and I commented on the last video, which was Ray's building, that I challenged the other two, or take that back, the other three, that would be John, Heath, and Ray, to do something similar. Make 4 buildings on your layout to represent the other 4 members of the group.
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
I don't know that I saw the one for Heath, and of course the one for Ray that he just did, but I don't remember if I saw one for you or John.
John's was a CPA, I think, a tax place.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. All right.
Heath's building was a
packaging.
Yeah, packaging facility that went out of business. That's partially boarded up, and I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then mine was Wilson's Hobbies, because I actually started a hobby company.
Yeah, I must have missed that one.
Yeah.
I didn't see John's, and I didn't see yours, but I did see Heath's and Ray's.
Rick's comment when he showed the part of the building that had my logo, like, Rick's comment was priceless, in my opinion.
I'll have to go back and look at it.
Because my logo is graffiti. So he was like, oh man, someone already tagged the building. They just couldn't let something be good, or something along those lines. And it was my logo. So, but yeah, I thought it was hilarious when I saw that.
When he was doing Ray's and that blue brick, I'm going, oh man, I'm not sure I can stomach that. And I kept watching it, and I didn't know, I hadn't put together the connection it was for Ray until he mentioned something and then showed the navy blue digital camo. All right. Then that blue started to pop, looked like the camo. I said, okay, this is gonna work, and he did a really good job with it. From something I start out looking at, shaking my head, to the finished product that was mind blowing. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. No, yeah, Rick did an excellent job on those buildings. Rick knows what I plan to do for the other 3.
Hey, Mike.
But he doesn't exactly know what I'm going to do for his. And one of the things, like where Gamer and Thrones is at on my layout, is where I realized, okay, it's a little too far away from arm's reach. Once I added in that 45-degree angle board for the balloon loop to come back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, that's going to have to come out. So, as far as like the track that goes behind it into staging, that's fine. It's
right.
Everything that's going to be inside that balloon loop, I got to redesign because it's all out of arm's reach. The turnout that goes into it, I put it too far back or too far to the right, so I'm going to have to take it out. And it's ballasted, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of reballast work and stuff like that.
A lot of people that are familiar with your layout probably don't realize the fact that that's your upper deck.
Yes.
And the videos, you still have a semi-downward look because you're up on a stool when you do those videos. But yet when you're operating, all right, that could be a problematic, I guess.
Yeah, even being on a stool, because I tried it, like my last episode where I put the buttons in, that's where I put that 1x4 at a 45-degree angle, which the balloon loop track is just going to be like 2 inches just behind it. And then it's like, I couldn't even reach where to unhook the boxcar for Gamer and Thrones.
You see Edward's comment? McKeon Commodities, the maker of granulated, liquefied, and gaseous unobtainium.
Oh, Lord.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that is a good one. That's like
hey, younger Steve.
My friend Craig, when we always talk about Tyco, because I've got some Tyco stuff too. He always says it's trains you can't operate. That's what Tyco
says. Sure you can. You just have to change the trucks, change the couplers, add a bunch of weight to them.
Yeah.
All right. You just basically have to rebuild them. The only thing left is a shell that's all molded detail and not molded very well at that. You better weather them. When you weather them, at least it's a good place to practice, and you can hide a lot of the crap.
Absolutely. But no, yeah, like I said, I challenged the other 3 to do the same thing through Rick's comment. Looks like we got a fire nearby. I'm gonna mute myself while this is loud.
All right, not a problem. Oh, I'll tell you what. These sidetrack Sunday guys are always worth a good laugh.
But okay, so for those who don't know, if you go and look at I thought he was gone. Now he's coming back. Are you kidding me? All right. Unless it's another fire truck running. I mean, there's a fire somewhere.
Or some kind of emergency.
Yeah, some kind of emergency. And there he goes. He's actually going across the tracks.
Hey, Randall.
But anyways, so what I was saying as far as the the challenge, I didn't directly tell the other 3. I put it in Rick's comment, and Rick pinned it. So I'm hoping Rick has shared that comment with the other 3, because I'm curious to see what they end up doing. Rick did commercial buildings. I'm going a little different. So the only hint that I'm giving is I'm going industrial. Okay. So all 4 of them are going to own some type of company on my layout that my railroad will be servicing.
I've been looking. Have you ever built any of the Cityscapes or Lundy's kits?
No, I haven't.
I've been looking at those, trying to plan out. Once I get Union Station built, some of the other older city style buildings for over here.
Now, my major city is going to be on the bottom level. Not really sure how I'm going to make that work because, I mean, Pine Bluff is Pine Bluff. I did go on the design and kind of tweak the design a little bit since everyone watched probably the first video of that series where I was talking about my layout design. And I had a power plant in there. I took the power plant out. I actually added another railroad with another interchange yard that's going to be on the bottom level, and the railroad's going to be the Missouri Pacific Lines for MOPAC.
Okay. MOPAC, yeah.
So,
now, correct. If my memory serves correctly, the Arkansas River goes through Pine Bluff, right?
It doesn't go through it. Pine Bluff is built on the southwest side of the river.
Okay, but it's on the river.
Yeah, it's right off of a bend of it.
During your era, was it navigable?
Yes.
Okay, so it would most likely have what I refer to as a river city style architecture, mid-50s, style architecture, correct?
Yeah. Now I will not be putting the Arkansas River on it.
No, but the industrial areas would still have that kind of feel.
Yeah. And I really don't even know if I'm really going to have industrial for Pine Bluff because I'm putting in the yard, and the yard is just so massive. There was some industrial areas that were on the river that the railroads did serve. So, like if it was, for example, if they took like a covered hopper, or back then it would be a boxcar full of grain, it would get dumped into a conveyor that would load it onto a barge, and then they would, ship it downriver down to New Orleans, down the Arkansas and Mississippi.
What are you going to do for backdrop?
It's probably just going to be all wooded.
Even for Pine Bluff area?
Yeah. Now, Pine Bluff, most of it's actually on the Gulf Coastal Plain, which is all woodlands, where it does barely straddle the Delta or the Mississippi alluvial plain.
So it's not on the rice area, like up by where you live, east of where you live.
No, like where I'm at, I'm about 15 minutes away east, like a 15-minute drive, and then I'm in all the fields.
Right.
Someone's calling dispatch. Turn that down.
Yeah.
But Pine Bluff straddles it. There's a lot of towns that kind of straddle that area.
I was just thinking, you could have kind of backdrop industrial scenes for Pine Bluff if you wanted.
I've got some building flats from Nick.
Yeah, probably the same ones I got.
Train Fanatic that I'm going to be using to kind of help for that.
Yeah, I really like his because they have the LEDs built into them.
Yes. Some of them, some of the ones I got are too modern, so I'll probably end up selling those. But I do have a couple that really fit, that time frame.
When I got mine from him, I got everything he had that was like red brick industrialized. Well, there's a couple that aren't red brick, but they're still the industrial. One's a white brick. Like the Heinz one.
Yeah, I've got that one, but it doesn't say Heinz or Hershey's on it or whatever. I told him, I said I just wanted the stacks, and that was it.
So I didn't even use the stacks.
Got another train coming.
All right, OTR, take care. Don't beer and auto rock on.
Do what?
OTR. Don't beer and auto.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a good title for when I post that video. Train. I don't know. I'm going to have to do something with the beer and the cars.
Drinking and driving?
Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to get creative on that one.
Yeah,
But
Steve.
no, so
Steve 87 said
so
that there's a lot of industries on the rail that are not rail served, and that's very true now.
very, very true. Yeah.
They those buildings may have been rail served. All of our warehouses when I worked for plumbing companies, every single one of them, coast to coast, was on the rail. Okay.
There's a lot of industries that were more rail served back then than there are today.
Right.
So you'll see like
deregulation of the trucking
Yeah.
trucking industry in '79 opened up more trucking plus trucking service plus expedited a more just on-time delivery concepts than what rail could provide. All right, so I know in the mid '80s we started filling in our rail docks. Okay, because we just weren't bringing in anything on the incentive to buy a bigger purchase order that came in on rail was not enough to offset the handling costs of warehousing that product. Okay, it was cheaper to pay slightly more shipping for truck, all right, and bring it in and only store it for a week's worth than the month's worth that would come in on a boxcar, as an example. So. Yeah, I know back in the 50s, the rail lines helped finance the building of a bunch of our warehouses, because they knew back in those days they knew that was going to increase their business, so they could not only get good interest rates on their capital, it ensured a increase in their business profits. The red light district rail serve. Surprisingly enough, Edward, yeah. If you in Chicago, back down around Dearborn Street Station, there were a number of houses of ill repute. All right, around the rail, around Dearborn Street Station. So yeah, they were rail served.
Well, what I was going to say is there's a lot of industries in Pine Bluff that I know of now that still has rail like in the asphalt. And basically what the railroads did, instead of pulling all that track up, they would just take the switch out.
Yep, exactly.
And that's still how they do it today.
In my younger years, when I was the facilities manager for a distribution center down in San Antonio, we had our last rail shipment in. Okay, so we didn't maintain the siding anymore. Well, the company decided to close a distribution center over in Alabama, and they had all these pallets. Well, pallets, were not cheap. So they shipped us a boxcar load of pallets, and then the railroad refused to deliver them because the siding was in a state of disrepair. So it cost $15 grand to fix the siding to get one boxcar of pallets in. I was pissed because it came out of my budget, and it wasn't something I had budgeted for. But it is what it is. When the powers to be say you got to do it, you got to do it. But we didn't receive any more rail shipments after that, and that's when they pulled the switch and we started filling in the rail dock. Steve, I imagine that industry was very prevalent throughout the country. I know it was in Chicago. And I'm sure around Union Station back in the 50s and 60s, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever, also had a high number of houses. I was just more familiar with Dearborn Street Station in that regard. All right, Steven. Have a good nap. My nap time is typically 2:30 every afternoon Eastern time. And that's about the time that Mr. John Linton always likes to call me because he knows he's screwing up my nap. Right, John? I think he's still on.
Hey, lucky for y'all got 2 trains today.
Yeah.
That one's a grain train. It's empty, headed up to I know where that one's going. That one's going between Dexter. It's going, I think it's east of Dexter on the old Chester sub. And there's a big grain hopper that will fill up like 110 grain cars at a time.
Oh, flood loader?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that one's headed to Dexter, Missouri, and then it'll go east on a branch line.
So what's in Dexter? What type of grain? Because it's typically south of the Corn Belt.
Probably corn, wheat, soybean.
Okay.
I honestly have no clue. I just know that's the return grain train.
Yeah, normally the Corn Belt starts north of I-70.
Yeah.
Through Illinois, Missouri, even Indiana.
Well, we got a lot of corn down here too. Arkansas didn't used to be known for corn. Arkansas's big 3 cash crops were soybean, rice, and cotton.
Right.
And cotton kind of went to the wayside, and there's quite a bit of corn grown now.
And poultry.
Yeah. Now, you get out of the Delta, go, like if you're in Pine Bluff and you go south and southwest, lots of chicken that way.
Up in the hills, too.
Yeah.
You get up northwest Arkansas, that's where the home of Tyson. So.
Well, Pine Bluff's got 2 Tyson plants.
Yeah, but Tyson is up there, Bettendorf area.
Their headquarters is up in the Fayetteville area, but that's because this is the thing about Walmart that a lot of people don't know. If you wanted to do business with Walmart, you had to have a headquarters office up in northwest Arkansas in their vicinity. And that's why Walmart has grown as big as, or that's why that part of the state has just boomed over the years. Yep, because all of these companies want to be a part of Walmart. So you look at Tyson, J.B. Hunt is another one, because a lot of times when you see a J.B. Hunt trailer or truck on the road, well, guess what? Most of them, 90% of it's got Walmart stuff in it. They're trucking for Walmart.
Yep. Yeah, that's how they got Northwest Arkansas Regional Airport, too. All right. With Walmart's big push back in the 90s.
Yeah. Well, and see, it's even grown so much that, Arkansas Children's Hospital that was just in Little Rock, they have a branch that is up in northwest Arkansas now because the population there has just grown and grown and grown.
Yep. Interstate 39 is because of Walmart.
You mean 49?
Whatever it is that runs north out of Fort Smith.
Yeah, 49.
Okay. I always thought it was 39. Okay.
Yeah, and see, they continued it. That goes down Fort Smith, and it goes down to Texarkana, down to Shreveport, Louisiana.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
I haven't been back that way in a long time. So, did they get it finished north up to Joplin and then on to Kansas City?
That I don't know.
Okay. It was supposed to basically follow route US 71. I thought. I think it's 71.
Beats me.
Anyway.
I'm not up there enough to know. I just know they have a train show every year in February. So that's the only reason I go up there. And to get to that train show, you're passing like several Walmart distribution centers.
Uh-huh.
And I got a wild hair one day just to see how big these buildings are. And I kid you not, the length of some of these distribution centers are longer than a mile.
I know. I used to run them. Or
And
run
I'm
ones
just
like
like,
that.
I mean, just if you had to walk from one side of that building to another side of that building, man, you would definitely get your exercise in.
I used to be thin. We actually had golf carts and tuggers and different motorized things for our supervisors to
Yeah.
utilize. Plus, they're given a given area. It's not like they have to travel the whole thing. Now, the managers had bigger areas that they had to deal with, but that's here or there. I was going to mention something. Oh, so in October, all right, Amanda's got her convention in Orlando. How many days y'all going to be here?
I don't know. She's talking about possibly not going.
Oh,
And I think
I was
it's
gonna,
because
if you were bored,
yeah. Oh, I
go ahead.
told her. I said no. I said I plan on going to this one with you. But I think she's got something else planned in mind. Because I said I was going to hang out with you, or and check out the layout, do some operations and stuff. And because I
Yeah,
mean, I was just going to be stuck at the hotel all day long.
hell, I'll come up and get you.
But I know. See, she paid for her tickets for this one, and the next one is in Las Vegas. And I think because she got them on a bundle deal,
Hey, Jasco.
but she hasn't paid for the hotel or the plane tickets yet, and so I think she's gonna not do this one, and we're probably gonna go to Vegas instead in the spring.
Yeah, getting back to the Walmart. Walmart has different formats of distribution centers. They have like a food distribution center. Then they'll have a general merchandise distribution center. I think they've got three or four different concepts, and they'll position them around the perimeter of metropolitan areas. Out in the country, typically 60 miles or so away out of nowadays, unlike their original concept. Okay, so a Walmart end up getting in a truck every day, but they're coming in from different things from different distribution centers. It's an interesting distribution model that they do, and a lot of the guys I worked with at Fleming ended up at Walmart because one of our guys back in like 1989, 88, somewhere in there, left Fleming to go to work for Walmart as their vice president of distribution. So he set up their model based upon what Fleming had done. So it's pretty cool.
They've got an interesting model. That's for sure. Because like in the Bentonville, Arkansas area, their distributions are not what's going from distribution to store. All of those buildings up there is what the manufacturers bring, and it goes from those distributions to the regional distributions.
Right.
So yeah, it is a very, very interesting model, and it was just like, just trying to get to the county fairgrounds up in Benton County, you had to pass like 3 or 4 humongous distribution centers, and each one of them has their own purpose.
Yeah, depending on which format, like the purpose you're talking about, the format, typically they're going to range in size plus or minus 1 million square feet.
Yeah.
And which is large, good sized distribution center. I mean, they're not easy to manage, but they're the most cost effective in the long run.
Right. And I mean, also keep in mind, it's not just Walmart; it's Sam's Club too.
Yes.
So
But Sam Clubs, when it comes, they're distributing different like foodstuffs. The typical Walmart food distribution centers not being distributed from the food distribution center that handles neighborhood markets or the super centers.
right, yeah,
Because it's totally
Sam's Club.
different packaging.
Yeah, Sam's Club's a different animal.
Yep.
So, well, guys, I hate to run, but my lunch break is over. So I
Yeah,
got to get back to the grind.
we're pushing the 2-hour mark, so we're going to wrap this up. Reminder, everybody. I think Edward, Happy Valley Happy Valley Hobbies. I believe Edward, speak up. I think it's 2:30. He does his Eastern time, his live stream, and then of course Anthony, Mr. Opadodge, does his at 3:30 on Fridays, and of course we all know about Cousin Vinny's at 8 o'clock Eastern time tonight. So with that,
yeah,
I want to thank you all for joining us here at the Retirement Railroad. Thanks for kind of co-hosting today, Jason.
absolutely.
And, y'all have a great day. Bye.
Take care, everyone.